My name is Autumn Lewis, reporting with El Paisano News. I'm here on scene at the lower quad of Rio Hondo College campus, where Black Student Union Club is hosting their first annual Black Excellence event, celebrating Black History Month of February.
BSU is a place where one can learn more about Black culture and get involved in the community. This recently established club has created this event to highlight Black excellence, providing several speakers to speak on success and identity, and setting up a wall of Black Americans who exemplify true success in American history. Food, refreshments, informational pamphlets, a photo wall, and a painting station were also set up to bring in and include the Rio Hondo College community.
So good afternoon. Welcome to Rio Hondo. I am so honored to host you guys all today on behalf of Rio Hondo College for the Black Excellence event honoring Black History Month. This year's theme is Black Excellence. I hope you all will take inspirations from all the speakers we have today and artists featured today. So we're going to start off with our first speaker. It is my pleasure to introduce some of our most impactful individuals who will be sharing space with you all. So Tremaine Davis, he's here. Hailing from Pittsburgh, California, Tremaine serves as the coordinator of the African American Resource Center. He has received a BA in Africana Studies and a minor in education from San Diego State University.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Happy Black History Month. Happy Black History Month. That's right. Just bring it on back to me. Bring it on back to me. We are celebrating 92 years of celebrating Black excellence. Now I know some of you may look and say, well, Black History Month became Black History Month in 1976. But you have to remember it was 50 plus years where it was National Negro History Week. So today we are honoring 92 years of Black excellence.
Yes.
It's always a phenomenal thing to celebrate Black history because throughout this month, it's our chance to be unapologetic about explaining the truth and not necessarily going into what is the societal norms or the stereotypes that are fed about Black images and Black people. We know that we have a phenomenal and rich tradition in history and culture and civilization that happened way before slavery. In fact, it happened way before Columbus came on over on the Mayflower and called this place America. We know that there were Black folks who are known as Moors who traveled throughout the world long before that. And if you don't believe me, pick up a book called They Came Here Before Columbus. You can Google it. It's on Amazon. It's about $10. It's a good read. But it's important to understand that because if we always talk about the enslavement of African people as a foundation, if that's where we're starting off, then it's only so far that we can go. The other thing about that too is when we talk about Black history from that standpoint, we often judge progress from that standpoint. So it's very easy to tell people, hey, relax, calm down. Black people have achieved so much since slavery, as if that was a starting point. But if we really look at the history, if we really understand the tradition of Black history, then we know that that was just a small bump in the road in regards to Black excellence. Medicine came from Black people. Education as we know it, philosophy, studying the stars, that all came from powerful people. So when we talk about this month, it's great to, focus on MLK, which is normally what we do. It's great to focus on Malcolm X. Normally that's sometimes what we do. It's great to talk about Rosa Parks, and we kind of give her a small paragraph in our history books. And it's great to focus on those things. But before them, it was so much more. As the song was just playing, I got royalty inside my DNA. Well, the DNA that came from a Malcolm or a Martin or a Rosa or Eldridge Cleaver or Huey P. Newton or the people that we see now today, it came from somewhere. There was a foundation that was just started from. So I encourage everyone as we celebrate this month, regardless of your creed, regardless of what you may look like or what your political views may be, understand that Black history is world history. So on that note, I'm going to say this. It is truly an honor to have a month that is dedicated to Black history. All 28 days, and sometimes when we get lucky, we get an extra day in 29 days, right, in leap year. And oftentimes we have this notion of, well, Black History Month is in February, and February is the shortest month of the year. So they just gave us Black History Month in February. I would strongly encourage you all to look into how Black History Month was created and the reasons as to why Black History Month is in February. We're on a college campus, so I'm not going to give you all the answers, but I will say this. Start researching Dr. Carter G. Woodson, who is the godfather of Black history. You start there, and then you will understand why Black History Month was in the month of February, and why it was so important that it was something that started off as a week celebration, but now it's grown to a month. And then you will understand why we have Black History Month in February. So, as a cheat note, I'm going to say this. For those of us who believe that Black History Month is something that we cherish, that we honor in February because February is the shortest month of the year, I'm going to challenge you to dig deeper. All right? So in closing, it's great to have things like this. It's phenomenal to have programs where we all come out and we are in celebration. Oftentimes what happens is once this program is over, so is our celebration. So is our wanting to learn more about the customs and the cultures in which we just got done celebrating. So my challenge to all of you here is to keep that going. Keep that moving forward, because so as long as we're open-minded and we keep a lens for Black history, we'll understand humanity more. And as we understand humanity, the more we'll be equipped to solve today's problems in society. Thank you all for coming out here today. It's going to be a great event. My name is Tremaine Davis. Hope to meet you all later. Thank you.
Let's give it up again for Tremaine Davis, another example of Black excellence on this campus today. Thank you for that. So our next speaker is Kiera Presley. She is graduating from Rio Hondo College this semester. Kiera currently majors in early childhood education. She is a founding member and current president of our Black Student Union here on campus. Our next speaker, Kiera Presley. Come on up here, please.
Kiera Presley, the president of BSU, and I'm going to just speak a little about my journey being an African-American young lady, growing up in different diverse groups that were in my experience with that. Growing up, I was the oldest child to a single mother, and with that being said, I moved around. I went to 6 different elementary schools. And for most people, you think about it, that's 6. Each year you went to a different school. And it wasn't because I was a bad student, it was just because I was displaced so many times. And I know that sometimes in our experience with education, we can feel displaced, or we feel like we don't belong. And that was my experience. So growing up, when I was about 5 years old, I always said I wanted to be a teacher, I want to be an educator. But then after being displaced 6 times, I said, I'm not qualified to teach or tell anyone anything. So that was my struggle. I was constantly doubting myself about who I can be. So I said, you know what, I'll just be a nurse, because at least I can still help people, but then I don't have to teach anybody anything. I don't have an authority role, because I'm not qualified to take that authority and teach anyone anything. Well, as my journey continued, more people, with that belief in my heart, more people started putting in on that belief, saying, yeah, you know what, you're not qualified, you know what, you don't really belong here, or you shouldn't be here, or you don't deserve this. So it was hard in my journey, but for me, my religious beliefs helped me to find my identity in who I am. And I'm thankful for those beliefs, because I wouldn't be here today as your president of BSU if it wasn't for that. So with that being said, I went through the process of still continuing my career with trying to be a nurse and trying to do something and make a difference in the world, and it wasn't really going anywhere. It was so stagnant. Nothing seemed like it was becoming. I was just still in the same place. So then later on in my life, I met a wonderful counselor here, Julius Thomas, and he said, Kiera, you should be an educator. And that just awoken something in me that I let go so long ago. And I was like, you know what? I went home, and he's like, you should think about it. And I went home and I thought about it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I always wanted to be an educator, and I didn't feel qualified to be an educator. But it took a journey. I went to about 3 different community colleges to finally finish off here at Rio Hondo. So it took me from Cerritos College to Citrus to everywhere else to find out that this was the place. This small little school on campus has power, because it had the power to help me figure out my identity and where I belong. So don't think that your time here is just for granted or it's just a passing through. Someone told me that this is the most challenging time that you'll have in your career in college, because once you transfer from here, things get a lot easier because everything's already planned for you. While you're here on this campus, you have to deal with having to help your family, you have to work, you have to deal with a lot of different obstacles. But those obstacles make you stronger, and they narrow your path to help you know what your identity is and your purpose and your calling will be. So I'm thankful for Rio Hondo College because it brought me a long way. It humbled me. It helped me meet so many different amazing people, but most definitely it helped me find out my destiny and my purpose here. So I'm just thankful for everyone here, and I'm thankful for the community that we have here and the support system. So please take advantage of your time here at this community college because it's a blessing to be here. And I just want to thank you all for coming out, and I greatly appreciate you guys for making this event amazing, and thank you.
You guys give it up one more time for our president of Black Student Union, Kiara Presley. So now we're going to have another speaker. He happens to be the advisor of our Black Student Union here on campus. His name is Julius Thomas, standing right over here. Julius Thomas is a tenured counselor, professor here at Rio Hondo College. And he's going to come talk to you guys about his experience being who he is. Give it up for Julius Thomas.
Speak about my plight in being here at Rio. So just so you know, I've been here since about 2001. So I've been here 17, so I've seen a lot of changes. I remember when this area here was not here. There used to be a bridge that came across the campus, and we knocked that down, and everything has been progressing and changing and growing. One of the things I'm happy to see is that now we have a Black History celebration. This is something we didn't obviously have a lot of times when I was here at Rio. When I first came here, especially on Fridays, you could basically echo and hear your name being called from campus to campus. Now we have a very vibrant and beautiful campus. We have a place where students can sit down and study. We've done a lot of things. Leadership has done a lot of things, and I'm very happy to see this grow. And being a counselor here, one of the things I take great value and pleasure and pride in is being able to mentor the BSU, but also mentoring other students as well. So I'm going to encourage you to make sure that you come down and you meet with us as counselors, that you get yourself set. Even if you don't know what your major is, you still come in and talk to us and see what different things and what different type of things we can present to you so that you can then go forth and find who you are and find out about everything that you need to know about Rio and everything that Rio has to offer. Thank you for listening.
I'm back again, not to speak. Okay, and now we're going to go ahead and introduce our Vice President, Autumn Lewis. She is a graduating student with a major in journalism. She writes for the school newspaper. Autumn is planning to transfer to either San Diego State, woo-woo, or transferring to Cal State Northridge this semester. Autumn is a founding member of BSU, and she is also our Vice President of the Black Student Union. Let's give a round of applause for Autumn Lewis.
I'm Autumn Lewis, as she just said. So I wanted to speak a little bit about my educational experience throughout my whole life. I don't know, well, a lot of you guys don't know this, I guess, but I'm actually from the dirty South. I'm from Alabama. I was born in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Roll Tide. And like throughout my life, I went through like multiple culture shocks. So when I was born, I moved to Georgia, and I lived in an area that was mostly white, like mostly white kids. Everybody. I went to schools that are mostly white. I then moved back to Alabama to a school that was black, mostly black and white. And then I moved up here to California in 2012 to a school that was mostly Latina, like just, you know, that group of people. And I noticed throughout all these culture shocks that a lot of these people that I went to school with, and you know, I saw, they all had this view of me, and this view mainly was a stereotypical view. And I remember when I was going to school up here in California. When I moved up here, I was a junior, and a lot of the people there were very like rude and not like blatantly racist, but they had a couple things that they said that just like made me very upset. But I noticed that most of the time people were putting these views of black people and black women on me because of ignorance, and I hated that. But I noticed throughout my whole educational history, like with these people putting their views of what a black woman is and how they are and what they see in media, that I needed to remember who I was and who I am and how I was brought up and who my mom, you know, raised me to be, and not worry about how people would view me and how people thought of me. So I think that was a big thing throughout my educational history, is knowing who I am and not worrying about what other people thought of me as a black woman, as a black person, as me myself. And now I'm here in Rio Hondo College. We had a Black Student Union started. You know, we're the first established Black Student Union on campus, actually. So I'm very proud of that. But all in all, I guess the message that I got from all my culture shocks and my educational history is that, like, I am who I am, and I don't need to worry about what other people say about me, because it's what I think, and I'm not a stereotype. I'm not what people see on TV. I am a black woman, and I'm Autumn Lewis. So thank you.
I'm going to go ahead and announce our next speaker, and that's going to be Dr. Kirkwood. And Dr. Kirkwood is a graduate of Cal State Fullerton and the College Education Doctorate Program with a Master's in Education from Claremont Graduate University.
Kirkwood, I'm from Inglewood, and they say I'm always up to no good. That's my hip hop for the day. Who am I? W.E.B. Du Bois taught me about this notion of double consciousness, meaning that a black man actually exists in two worlds. One world can be quite hostile, whereas the likes of Philando Castile, a father and a husband-to-be, the likes of Eric Gardner, a father and husband, are killed for no clear indication other than that they're black men in the United States. There's this other world, a world that is affirming and endearing. It is my village, it is my community, a place of solidarity, a place that has my back, a place that encouraged me to reside in hope despite darkness times, to reside in perseverance and resilience, with the resolve that as a community, we shall not, cannot, and will not be moved. Langston Hughes informed me that I am the darker brother. And when the main guests arrive, I'm often expected to bow out, or better yet, move towards the back. Yet he also encourages me that I too am great. Great in the fact that I am a descendant of the first people, the ancient architects who created the pyramids, never to be replicated or duplicated. The great mathematicians whose works were influenced the Greek mathematicians Pythagorean. The great philosophers whose concepts of life and epistemology, that's knowledge, were developed before there was a Plato or Aristotle. Great in the fact that my voice, our voice, they all matter. Ralph Ellison taught me that I'm the invisible man, that even with the darker hue, I'm often overlooked, marginalized, displaced, and altogether ignored by society. However, that same person inspires me to continue to tell my story. Despite systemic, covert, and overt forms of hatred and racism, despite instances of profiling me as a black man, despite brutality and senseless slaying of innocent black and brown children, despite the looming fear of rejection and the longing for affirmation, despite wondering if anyone understands, value, or appreciates my narrative, Ellison says to me, and he says to every one of you here, continue to tell your story. Tell your story. My story is of being black in the context of a society that tends to disregard me. Yet I look to Black History Month that reminds me of the composition of folks who have come before me, folks who have inspired me through hope, greatness and truth in the pursuit of freedom. My story of being black in the context of this society is not to allow hate to live in my heart, rather to give and seek love, and also look to the Creator and my village, the sustainer of all things. My story is Black history. Thank you very much.
Okay, so our next speaker is actually one of our Rio Hondo College's own. His name is Paris Youngblood. He is a graduating student at Rio Hondo College, and he is the student trustee. His major is sociology, and he plans to pursue his doctorate in the area of higher education. I give you guys Paris Youngblood, please.
Go for it, Paris!
Hi everyone, my name is Paris Youngblood, and I am your student trustee. So I'm going to start off with a quote by MLK. Here I go. I have the audacity to believe that people everywhere can have 3 meals a day for their bodies, education and culture for their minds, and dignity and equality and freedoms for their spirits. Now I'm going to start with my speech. This nation was built on slavery and inequality. People of color were constantly being oppressed. But over time, we have stood together and broke through the adversities that were placed. My hopes for the future is that we do not forget those that have fought for the freedoms that we have today. And in addition to stand up to the injustice and the prejudice behaviors, we need to stand together not to forget what was fought for. And I have another quote from Olympic athlete Jesse Owens. We all have dreams, and in order to make those dreams come into reality, it takes an awful lot of determination and dedication and self-discipline and effort. My hopes is that more people of color get involved and shake the feeling of being inadequate. Do not set limits on ourselves because we are the future of the nation. We have the power to create change for the generations to come. Just like leaders before us, we can make history. And that's all.
And the next person we're going to bring to the stage is not a speaker, but she's a poet that speaks. And that is LA's La Speaks Volume. Is a poet, an educator, and author. She was born and raised in Los Angeles. At a young age, she dedicated school as her safe haven. She ignored her circumstances and strayed away from the streets that killed her father. By hiding in her studies, her dedication to her education led her to her bachelor's degree at UCLA and the master's at USC. Also, just beginning her journey as an author of her first book, Naked, A Woman's Unfiltered Truth in Poetry and Testimony. It is in high school, and she is an educator in middle school and high school as a teacher. Thank you. Let's go ahead and bring up La Speaks Volume.
How you doing? Like she said, I am a poet. I've been doing poetry for about 5 years. I just graduated from SC the last year in May with my master's in education. I'm here basically because I love to speak for my community. I have, a real passion for the youth and teaching them the things that some of these school systems don't really, teach them. So I'm here and I just stand for truth, and I'm here to tell you that be who you are and stand in that, regardless of flaws, regardless of what people may say about you. You don't allow people the power to tell your stories for you. And I really love speaking for my women. I'm gonna come out here and interact with you guys because I don't like standing on stage in one spot. Okay, I have a poem called Black Woman's Plight. And you guys can give me as much energy as you need. I know a lot of people go to like these, you know, spoken word venues and they're like, you know, just snap and stuff like that. Don't just snap, because I don't really feel that all the time. Okay, so you can say and clap, do whatever you want. All right. Pretty brown girl. Why you frown, girl? Is it that everybody trying to put you down, girl? You don't never let them take away your crown, girl. You the one that make this world go round, girl. Pretty brown girl, I'm down, girl. How that sound, girl? Something like a masterpiece to me. Could never go down as blasphemy, cause God sculpted every part of you with the masterpiece. With a little box attached that might make him say, and he call that the masterpiece. See, you can never be duplicated. There's always ever gonna be one you to do what you do, so don't ever doubt why you were created. Skin glistening, heavily melanated. So beautiful, yet so many try to humiliate it. So many try to coincide your very existence with that of hatred. But baby girl, you better than that. Baby girl, stand tall where you at. And if they try to give you hell, you just give it right back. And don't let them tell you something wrong with your curves or your little back fat. Cause a real one still wanna crown that. A real one still wanna love that. And when you put your head down, he still wanna kiss that yes. Very much so a hot commodity. They paint invisible pictures of you, so you walking around looking something like an oddity. Meaning they see you, queen, and I'ma wear this crown till they get tired of me. Take pride in being the oddest thing. Take pride in who you are like I take pride in me. And tell them you deserve the finest things because you're the finest thing. And tell them you're not enticed by designer things because you're the best designest thing. And tell them, lose the cap in niggas' knee. Don't give in till you get the ring. But until then, press down on your dreams. Know that there's more than video vixens and BET. More than VH1 and MTV. Matter of fact, you know what MTV should mean? That you're more to value. Because you're valuable. And don't let these hater shades cloud you. Don't let these reality shows paint you like you a clown, boo. Acting lost and now all the wrong things done found you. All the wrong things astound you. Kendrick said, be humble and sit down, boo. Because if God created one beautiful thing that is you, you better believe he can create two. You better believe he can create something even more beautiful than you. He'll check you like a pay stub, wake you up without the makeup, break you down until you're no longer made up, make you look at the woman in the mirror with your face up, make you stay gracious, make you pack light and lose all the baggage you might have hit the train with. So I ask, pretty brown girl, never frown, girl. I know that everybody trying to put you down, girl. You don't never let them take away your crown, girl. You the one that make this world go round, girl. Pretty brown girl, I'm down, girl. How that sound, girl? That's my first one for you guys.
Oh my goodness! Y'all! Oh my goodness! Give it up for La Speaks Volume. Oh, because she spoke volumes, y'all. All right. So, our next speaker is Miss Dean Alicia Kirkwood. She is the new interim Dean of Student Services at Rio Hondo College. Kirkwood graduated with her bachelor's degree in sociology from UC Riverside and is currently working toward her doctorate in education, also from Cal State Fullerton.
First of all, I want to thank you all for coming out today. When I got the email regarding the Black Excellence event, I do have to say my heart was elated. And so I am glad that Rio Hondo recognizes that the contributions of all of our students and all of our history come together, because that is what makes the human condition bearable. The community, the village that we all have the opportunity to be a part of, is something that we each have to fight for each day. And that means always standing up for what's right. So we hope that you have been empowered by what you've heard and seen. We hope that you are encouraged to seek deeper knowledge beyond what is given to you. And we just thank you all for coming out. Special appreciation to our guests who came from Cal State Fullerton, our faculty and staff there, because those are the ones who understand the Wakanda Forever spirit. When you call on the village will show up. And so we thank you all, and it's such a pleasure and a beautiful thing to see all of your faces. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you again, Dean Alicia Kirkwood. I actually want to thank everybody who came out today, the speakers, everyone. Thank you so much for being here and listening. We also have a couple activities over here, some painting, if you guys want to go check that out. We have cookies and lemonade. So yeah, but once again, thank you guys for coming. That was our Black History event, Black Excellence. As you see, many examples of Black excellence here on this campus today. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you.
Right? I thought I would have been like, dude, you guys are the coolest event.